All right, going in.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
All right. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora.
Good morning, Aurora.
The time is now 8:01 a.m. And you are listening to Jeanette's Splaining on Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. And we have a lot to discuss this morning. And it's Friday.
We do. It's Friday, and we now have a system. The first one who points at the other person then says the first Good Morning Aurora. So now we've got it worked out, guys.
Works good, too.
It only took us like 4 months to figure this out.
Works quite well, you guys. Good morning to everybody. Before we get started, I want to say good morning, Norma Peterson. We got some good stuff coming up for you guys, and I want to let you, I'm not going to let you know what it is, of course, but I will tell you the infamous 2 words that I use a lot on this show. Stay tuned. All right. So first things first, how we feeling this morning, everybody? How are you guys out there, and how are we doing in here? BTP, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty well.
Good. Jeanette, how are you?
I'm good. I'm
All right,
fine.
all
I'm
right.
a little tired. Was up late last night. Just, when you get into a project and then you just keep going and then you realize you're like, it's 11 o'clock. And like, look, 11 o'clock's not like that late. But
11 o'clock is fucking late.
But
on
a Thursday after a long week, and now I'm like old. I'm like so close to middle age. It's sad, and like I need my beauty rest. And then I got a phone call at 1:30 in the morning. That was just like a you up kind of thing, and I'm like, really? Are you serious? No, I'm not. I'm not up at 1:30. And then we had the storms come in. And my tiny little dog is shaking.
The storm is nice. The storm was very nice.
I love storms. We really needed the rain. We're in drought right now. So if you have not looked up the river, glanced in it, you can walk across it without getting the hems of your pants wet right now. It's really low. So we needted the rain.
I hope the weather gets worse. I want it to get real bad. I like bad weather.
Yeah, you
God.
like storms and tornadoes.
I woke up, it was all
and whatnot.
gloomy and dark, and I'm like, this is great, but can we get darker? Can we get sirens?
Yeah, I will say this, I was really jealous. My friends down in Ottawa, the derecho last year, the year before, whatever that was, hit them real bad. And as a result, they managed to get the city to just dump a ton of wood chips on their garden. And I'm kind of like, I could really use because they got to take down all the trees that fell, and then they were just like, well, we're just going to take them to the dump. And they're like, no, dump them right here. And so now they've got a garden that's they've got amazing compost. So I need post-storm compost.
My dad is in here. Good morning, Dad. Hit the claps for my dad.
Hey,
what is
and
up?
It's Father's Day, so
Word
that's
up.
nice. That's very nice.
Happy Father's Day to you, sir. To you, and to everybody.
Oh, do you want to talk about? Do we want to riff on Father's Day first, or do we want to save that for the end?
We can riff on it now.
Let's
Good morning, Aisha Saxon.
Let's do Father's Day then. What are you doing for Father's Day?
What do you guys got going
on? You have a
out
dad,
there?
you have a kid. I have neither of these things at this point, so I am not doing anything. I am probably having a beer at McCarty Mill on Sunday, and I'm just fine with that.
Devin is a dad. Shout out to Devin and Alvin Soto.
There you go.
Got a lot of parents out there. Actually, this is a parent show.
Oh,
We got a lot
okay,
of
all right. We can do that.
a lot of parents. We had kids on the show yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We had my son on the show Wednesday and Tuesday. I mean, it was great. It was great. It's a true family show. So all of you dads out there, good morning to you. Philip Millies is here. Are you a dad, Philip? Cindy Morales, hi mom, and yeah, all of you guys, all of you guys. So Father's Day, I've got a new bike that I will be debuting for my son. We had a little spill the other day. The
Oh,
bike that I got for him wasn't, unfortunately, the best. It was a little bit ambitious, so
it's a
it's
little
not.
too tall for your
Yeah,
little
it's
guy.
not really.
He'll get there.
It's not really. Yeah, so we're gonna keep that one.
Yeah.
But I got a brand new one that I'm gonna unveil.
No.
So I think it'll be a lot better for him. We got the plug. And good morning, Victoria Hyla Maldonado. I did recover. But all of you followers out there, what's up? What's the deal? How's life? How's life? My dad taught me a lot. And as I mentioned on a previous show, my dad is my biggest supporter. My dad just a couple of days ago sent me a picture of me in my uniform, my Navy uniform. So that was a good little memory there. Shouts out. All you dads out there, we appreciate everything you do. The time is now 8:06 a.m. So in addition to that, man, we got a lot of people here. Oh, I want to say another shout out to a person who is a great dad out there. This person does a whole lot. Chad Dawes from Treadwell. Hit the claps for Chad.
All right.
He
Hey,
deserves.
Hey, Chad. Yeah,
He
we're
deserves it.
drinking his delicious coffee right now.
Chad is a good dad. I appreciate all of his guidance and help that he has given to the show in regards to a lot of things. So shouts out to him. All right. So you got any good dad stories?
No, not without it getting really, really dark in here.
Well, we have one light, so
We got yeah, no. So my dad. Ooh, here's what
Could
I
it be
do.
a learning story?
Well, here's what I do have is so my dad passed away a few years ago now, and we had the best party afterwards, right? Because he was not like a have the sad church funeral sort of
Sure.
thing for me, and we did that because mom. But like then we had a party down at the Aurora Athletic Club of all places, which is like if you've
Right.
never been there, it's like a social club, but like it's right on the river, so you can kind of like moor a kayak or a canoe there if you want, play some sand volleyball, and we had an open bar and a skeleton dressed like my dad and some live music. It was pretty fun. But I do have an uncle who is in many ways the creepy spitting image of my dad, who I was not close to when my dad was alive, but who is now like rewiring all the electrical in my house for me. So I just like come home and it's like, bah! Like, it's like my dad with a ponytail, like just kind of doddering around in my basement, which is
Nice.
he was around this week and it was really nice. So
I saw a pretty funny meme. It said Mother's Day the restaurants are packed. Father's Day they want us to barbecue all day.
Yeah.
Which I will be doing actually.
Yeah?
I will. My brother gave me a good amount of meat from some place called Jasper's Meats.
Jasper's Meats.
Somewhere in the sticks, yeah.
Okay.
Frog in the corner, he go riding.
Yeah.
So I thought out some ribs, and we're gonna do that.
Okay.
We're gonna do
Alright.
the ribs.
That sounds fun.
All right.
I did feed my uncle a veggie burger today. He said it was not or this week. He said it was not bad. Like one of the incognito like the Beyond, like the really good, like expensive, like fake burgers.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I heard that I've heard people who are not typical vegan or vegetarian say that they've had some burgers that have been like
they're
yum.
getting a lot better with the
closer to the mic.
pretending to do fake, like the fake meat technology. It's getting a lot better. They even kind of make them like bleed a little bit, which I'm like, this seems unnecessary, but yeah, they're a lot better. And what everybody tells me is that they don't feel like crap afterwards, right? Like, because when you eat like a really big like burger, like out of beef, you kind of have like the meat sweats, or like just the next day you just feel like really heavy or whatever, and you don't have that with the fake burgers. So, yes, they are Jeanette's uncle approved. So
So let me get this straight.
uh-huh.
Scientists have found a way to make vegan burgers bleed.
Not like real blood, but
Okay.
like yeah, it's got like a little like if you thaw 'em in the microwave or whatever, you know how if you did that with a real burger, there'd be like that red juice off of it. Yeah.
See, this is a strange thing,
samesies.
and I think it's an ethnic diversion here because I don't recall ever thawing meat in
And
a
I don't
microwave.
know that you're
I don't think my
supposed to
dad,
do it,
my
but
dad never thawed meat. Dad, did you ever thaw meat in a
look,
microwave?
I'm not saying that that's like what you're supposed to do. Because I haven't cooked meat in like, I don't know,
I get you.
20
No,
years.
there are no. You're right. Though. No, there. I'm not. No, not to be naive. Seriously, people unthaw like chicken breasts.
Do
or
they
something
do
like
that in the
Yeah, they do.
Like
They
I
put
would
it in
think.
a
I mean, like
microwave.
that's what you have a microwave for,
Microwaves
right?
come with settings for defrost.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All
But,
right. So I'm not
um,
crazy. Again,
yeah.
really have not cooked meat in 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like greens in a can.
It's just something you do when you need to
Nobody
make it
would do that.
right away. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
we
Like
need to
company's
eat.
over and I
Company's
forgot
over.
to do this.
Yeah, let's just nuke
You
it really
pop it
quick,
and
get
then
it
like-
defrosted.
I mean,
yeah.
I assume it's safer, right, than just like leaving it in your sink or your fridge or whatever.
Uh,
right?
I unthawed a meat in this. Like I'll be
You do the sink or the fridge?
Tuesday. I unthawed some chicken thighs.
Uh-huh.
Woke up, made my coffee, put the frozen chicken thighs in the sink.
In the sink. Okay.
Back home by about 11 or so.
Yeah.
They were pretty much
Ready.
thawed.
Ready to go.
Separated them, put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably not the safest thing, but it's okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
who's
As long
got
as
their-
as long as it gets cooked thoroughly, it kills any bacteria that was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Who's
Build up
got
in the
their
sink.
food handler's license? I don't have.
I
I
do.
never got. You got one?
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So BTP is like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Alyssa Ocon, good morning to you.
if
Happy
you
Friday
if
to
you do, just make sure you clean them and then they're cooked to the right temperature.
Well, it's not like naked
Uh-huh.
food in a sink.
right.
That would
No.
be silly.
Okay, so then why is the meat on the top shelf in the fridge sometimes, Brent? I know that one.
I don't put anything up there.
There's like we have like
Everything goes in the
It's a
thing
thing.
now.
uh-huh.
I make sure.
It's a
Anna
thing.
Sierra is here.
So I don't
Happy
get-
Friday
so
to
I don't
you
get that
too,
scolding.
dear friend, and thank you very much. I appreciate that, Anna. Anna is a parent as well. Shouts out to you, Anna. It is Mother's Day and Father's Day for you. Time is now 8:12. Something happened with McCarty Park. What was the?
We got a playground.
We got a playground.
We got a playground in
Okay.
McCarty Park.
We got a.
Yay,
We
playground.
got a playground.
Yeah. So important point to note: of McCarty Park now officially has a playground, as opposed to just being a park, which
Right.
was an important, critical argument in whether or not we evicted a whole bunch of sex offenders from a nearby organization.
Wayside
right?
Cross.
Right. So we got this playground, which is great. Like kids and so McCarty Park is on the Near East Side, right? It's just kind of like just up the hill from downtown.
By
we-
the old Family Dollar.
by
in
by
between
where
New York and
by
Galena.
where the Family Dollar got burned down last year. Correct.
The burned out crisp of Family Dollar.
Yes. Yeah.
Across the street from the liquor store.
Yes. So
and
look,
gas station.
That little section is looking like
it's a little rough. It's we
like-
could use a park.
I can't even. There's no even compare. You know, like you can't even compare it right now.
Yeah, it's
Looking bad.
Yeah, we could do better in that little corner. But so now we have a playground. So which and there's also a splash pad there, which has been there for years. It's very nice. And there's events and stuff out there all the time. Usually, our older woman holds her ice cream social out there every year and stuff like that. So it's a very nice little very like urban like park, right?
Right.
So
Who's our older woman?
what?
Who's our older woman?
Bonnie Garza, Ward
Okay.
2.
All right.
Yeah. So you know
Interesting.
she does the usually in August, like kind of like just around back to school time, she'll do like an ice cream social for the night we get free ice cream. So yeah, look out for that. Your little bullet like in the little newsletter she sends. So we have a playground there, which is awesome. But a funny little note of history here, and by history I mean like, you know, just 2 years ago, not even like a year and a half ago. So if you recall the story of the Wayside Cross, there were 19 child sex offenders living there. So the Wayside Cross is a ministry that is a place for ex-offenders of many different kinds to transition back into society. So they
Or like rehabilitation kind of thing.
yeah,
through-
so it's
through
sort of like a halfway house
religion?
almost. Yeah, so it is faith based. What they do is like when men are moving out of prison, they can go live there, and they have all kinds of like counseling programs for them and job placement. And so they've got the secondhand shop. Some of the guys work there, and they get a lot of supervision and stuff like that. So it kind of what happens sometimes, particularly with sex offenders, is they get released from prison but then completely alienated from society, and they're more like people are more likely to reoffend when they don't have any connections or ties or like anything that, when you got nothing to live for, you're just like, I guess I'll just do whatever.
Right.
So the Wayside Cross tries to give people opportunities and reorient them back into society, and also really like keeps an eye on it, right? Like they're being constantly monitored, so like they don't live in their own like single rooms until they've graduated all the way through the program, like that kind of stuff. So there's just like a lot of like buddy system stuff to have like going on, right? But they were issued eviction letters. They were delivered by Aurora police, but if you ask the Aurora, they'll say, well, it was the state's attorneys that made us do it, but somebody actually had to tell the state attorney's office that, there was a perceived issue. And the perceived issue was that McCarty Park was a playground, and therefore all of these guys were living too close to a playground, and therefore they all had to be evicted, which is really fascinating because a Wayside Cross has been there for like 100 years or something like that, and the park has been there for just as long. So it's kind of like, how is this suddenly a problem? Anyway, the question that then hung in the balance was not, are they too close to the park? But it's like a park is fine, but a playground is not. And so the city was arguing, well, this is a playground. There's no question they live within 500 feet of a playground. And then it was kind of like, but they didn't. But now we have a playground, so now they definitely do, I guess. It's kind of like a weird, really, we suddenly needed a playground right here that, like,
I think it exposed how lackluster city services actually were, because if the old SHIT moment was Wayside Cross having sex offenders living in it, now we're going to make it a nice area for kids. I would have thought the city would have kept up with the park
right
way before and made it nice. I mean, how much money did they spend on building River Edge Park? Because that park's older than River Edge. It's older than the venue, Mundy Park and all that, ribbon cutting for that. It's also older, if I'm not mistaken, than the new bridge that was just ribbon cut. So
last week. Yes, McCarty Park is older than the bridge that we cut the ribbon on
I
last
would have
week.
thought that would have been and should have been a priority way back, right?
I mean, sure.
But what do I know?
Look, I think, what's interesting about parks in that
Correct.
neighborhood in particular is that they usually just get installed when they're trying to take down other stuff. And it's kind of like, well, I guess we'll just put a park there.
Right.
And, if you stick a playground in, then like suddenly you can force out all of these people that are not allowed to live in playgrounds, which I think that people would have like lots of different opinions on whether or not that's like a good or right thing to do. But a lot of the parks in that neighborhood are quote unquote pocket parks, which is a park that's basically the size of a single home like lot. But the house burned down forever ago, or it got condemned, or it got taken down, or whatever for whatever reason. So they just put a playground in there.
I do like here's the thing. So forget Wayside Cross. That park for a long time though was just like Crackville. I remember it was just
It was not nice.
It was 4 local cans and syringes as far as the eye could see.
It was some folks having some adult type, not my adult type fun on the on the weekends.
Like there was no splash pad. There was just like
Yeah.
a urine slip and slide. It was in. It was,
Yeah, because it was just like a
Ew.
path and like a couple
it
benches,
was.
right?
That's all it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, because
Empty
the
space.
path goes through both sides to
Yeah.
New York and connects New York and Galena, but that was really it.
Yeah.
And I think that the also a big story was that I can't pronounce his last name, but the Ripper Crew guy when he got out,
yes.
when he got out and was and came
Coriolis.
when he got out and came to
Yeah.
stay there, that's when like the hugest flare up.
That's
really,
when the news really blew up,
Right.
right? Was this fella who got released from prison who, is, I mean, he was released, so he was deemed not a threat to society anymore, and also had,
well, he spent the max of his term too.
yes, he
40
did.
years.
He also seemed to have some documented developmental disabilities that meant that he was probably more of just like an accomplice, but still, it became definitely this
Right.
this like flashpoint for what are we going to do about this place that
Right.
wasn't like really a problem to have in the community
Nobody
before,
knew
but now,
it-
so yeah, like no, it was
Nobody was even talking about it.
right, yeah, so
McCarty Park is the city's oldest park, going back to 1835. City officials call it one of the city's legacy parks, as Jeanette mentioned. And in 1903, Tracy Duran shared a fun fact with us as well. President Teddy Roosevelt spoke in the park during a visit to the city.
oh,
And our dear friend Simon Rodriguez of the city's youth activities or youth services says that we need this in our community. Shouts out.
yes, I think bottom line is I don't think anyone is unhappy about seeing more investment into the community, right, into that neighborhood, and seeing more amenities for the kids who live there and for everybody who lives there, right? Because yeah, right now it is kind of like a burned down Family Dollar and the gas station, right? Oh, and El Güero. Shout out to El Güero because it's a pretty good little grocery store right there. But there's not it's not a charming like sort of it is a neighborhood that has so much potential and so much like cool stuff and could really with a little bit of love could really be
It is an eyesore,
amazing.
unfortunately. It is an eyesore. All right, the time is now 8:21 a.m. So yeah, that is the now McCarty Park. Now, I also wanted to. Now we had something that we were going to talk about. We're going to do. People need to know some government stuff, right?
Some stuff.
Was the government the?
Well, so
Government?
you'll recall that we decided on this show to let people know what was going on in upcoming meetings.
Committees, yes.
Yes. So we talked about the committee structure a while back and how, sometimes these meetings that happen like kind of like 3 p.m. are just not super easy for people to keep up with.
Right.
You can watch them online now, though, so that's great.
One of the best things about the pandemic.
So not a lot on the docket so far for this for this upcoming week, but infrastructure and technology meets on the 21st, which I think is Monday.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the agenda doesn't give us a lot of information, which is really tragic. It just says like we're rejecting all the bids for bathrooms and a concession stand at Wilder Park. And I'm kind of like, but I want concession bathrooms and concession
what the
stand.
hell? Yeah.
I mean, my guess is
If
that
I hear
the
park, I'm thinking concession stand and bathroom. Like what?
yeah, so I mean, probably what happened is all the bids came in, they were really high, and so they're gonna like kind of redesign what they want and go back out to bid. But I have no idea because that's all it says on the agenda, and there are no details. So like, can we get just a little more detail on some of these things, guys? That's all I'm asking. What we are getting though at Wilder Park, and Wilder Park is it's downtown. It's kind of like if you walk the Fox River Trail from like the casino basically on the west side of the river. So it's the park that's on the west side of the river, just slightly north of downtown. So like if you were to walk from the casino or Enduro or whatever north towards Illinois Avenue. It's like that kind of, it's like a strip park sort of thing going
It's
on
right
there.
next door to Royal Pancake House.
Yeah. So what we are getting is like a little festival street.
A festival
A
street.
festival street. So
What in the world?
well, so like remember how we talked about how River Edge Park was initially supposed to be like the whole park was supposed to be the river, so it's like both sides of the thing, right?
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
so they're kind of like what they're doing is they're taking one of the streets on Wilder and they're like putting pavers and stuff in, and then it'll have like string lights and things over it and stuff like that. So it's not a big contract. It's I forgot what the exact dollar amount is on it, but probably my guess would be that would allow us to do things like put a farmer's market over there more often, right? Because the spot where it's at now is fine, but it's a little bit hard for people to get in and out, like the vendors and stuff like that. If you have it on a street, you can just kind of drive in. So you can have a lot of things where you have vendors set up on a festival street like that. So a festival street would also, like an example might be River Street in downtown Batavia. So if you've
River
ever
Street in downtown Batavia.
yeah,
I haven't
so
been there.
like in your brain noodle, think about downtown Batavia, and that street on the east side of the river that has that funny like archway thing, and then like a bunch of restaurants and it's all
like
paved.
like cobblestone.
Yeah,
whatever,
so like
road.
right, so you can drive on it, but also it can be just covered in pedestrians all the time. So it's like designed to be like a really like access for vehicles, but mostly for pedestrians. And of course, right now they've got it shut down completely so that they can have all the restaurants with extra seating outside.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's coming to Wilder Park. apparently.
Festival Street. Now, they were also going to do a Greek memorial there, I saw.
Really?
Yeah, there was an article we were reading about a couple months back, though. There was going to be a Greek Independence Memorial coming to Wilder Park. I think there was a foundation was sponsoring it. The city was going to put a little money towards it or something like that.
Oh, hey, a thing I don't know.
Yeah, it was Greek Independence. That's what it was.
Greek
Greek
okay,
Independence.
okay.
Yep. Wilder Park has there is a Veterans Memorial at Wilder's Park. I believe it's a Vietnam Veterans Memorial. It's in that it's in the direct middle of the park. So if you ever see the park, you see where that flag is flying proudly. It is that stone structure right there.
Yeah. Wilder Park is a park that does not get like an awful lot of play because it's like
Only during fireworks.
yeah, they use it
years
for
ago.
fireworks. There's like there's a lot of open grass. So you'd think you'd be able to do a lot of stuff on it, but it's on a slope. So like you can't really. It'd be a pain in the butt to play like frisbee or something on it without falling down the hill. So like
Yeah, I mean one person's gonna have the advantage. Like
Right.
you're throwing the frisbee downwards. And then you're trying to throw it up with the sun in your eyes.
Upwards, right?
Like, yeah,
like playing
it's not...
catch with Dad this weekend. Wilder Park is kind of tricky for that.
Come on, kid, pick it up. Oh, Dad, I'm throwing it to the
It's like
sun. Oh, it
running
builds
down-
character.
Right. Kids like rolling down the hill.
All right.
So it'll be nice to see some a little bit of investment there. That'll be good.
All right.
Okay. So also coming up on upcoming. So what I did was reviewed what happened at Committee of the Whole on the 15th, and so the way that the structure works here, right, is proposals go to the various committees, and then they go to Committee of the Whole for discussion, and then they get voted on by the City Council usually the next week.
Right.
So at the last Committee of the Whole meeting, the Committee of the Whole passed some water rate increases. So that's going to go to the City Council probably this week. I have to double check, but probably this week, which would meet Tuesday. So it'll
Water
be
rate increase.
Water rate increase. So 1.4% on your water bill this year and 4% increase next year, which is, not astronomical. That's like an annoying one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there are other communities. Look, nobody wants to see their water rates go up, but I will say this: there are other communities around us that are facing the potential for much larger water rate increases because they're challenged with figuring out where they're going to get their water for the next 100, 200 years
Right.
or whatever. So that requires things like building new plants, building new pipes, like connecting to Lake Michigan, all of these things. That's going to result in like huge water increases. So like
Large-scale infrastructure that we don't have to worry about.
no, we don't have to worry about it because we already have that
Right.
because we get our water from both the aquifer and the river. So 4% I'm kind of like not ideal. But
Not the
also
end of the world.
not the end of the world.
Right. Tracy Duran, good morning and happy Friday to you too as well. We appreciate you tuning in. The time is now 8:29 a.m.
Oh, and also I should add, we're in drought, so maybe just use less water and then you won't feel the increase, right? So like get your low flow toilets on, right? Put the little thingy on the sink so that it doesn't the aerator, right? On a little sink
Oh,
faucet.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you know what I'm talking about? So
Mhm.
that you're using less water when you do the dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't do dishes.
The thing that makes it come into many squirts, not just one stream.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's different options, but like you just put like this little screen and you want a screen on it. Well, and let's go back to you want a filter on your water anyway.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We've talked about this, but you also want the little aerator on there so that you've got a lower flow. And watering right now. Like guys, I know it's hot. Luckily we just had water. We had rain last night, but don't be out there sprinkling right now. Like go hand water your tomatoes and let everything just look a little crispy right now because we do not have water in
They're
this
not
area.
tomatoes. They're maters.
Maters? Tomatoes? Tomatoes?
Oh, nobody got that?
No.
I've heard tomatoes. I never heard them called maters.
Well, yeah. You know, that's the sort of,
Tomatoes.
yeah.
Tomatoes.
Tomato.
Maters.
Tomato.
Maters? Nobody? Oh,
No.
wow. Crickets.
let's call the whole
Absolute
thing
crickets.
off.
Nobody got that. Oh.
Yeah, so no, we are.
My
we
dad
are,
knows what I'm talking about. My
So-
dad grew up in Georgia. Maters. Maters and taters.
Taters and taters.
Yep.
Taters I am familiar with. Yeah, so we are in drought right now. It is not severe in this area. We are just quote unquote unusually dry, but in areas just a little bit north of here, like you go up to McHenry County and stuff like that, they are pretty crispy right now. And then out west, of course, they're just like bone dry and it's 123 degrees and it's awful. So just chill on the lawn watering. It'll be okay. I promise. If you keep Here's your lawn care maintenance water conservation tip for the day. If you keep the grass longer, it keeps the roots cooler, which keeps the grass from dying in the heat.
Interesting.
Also, yeah, so you can't let it get more than 8 inches, but you can let it go to like a few inches.
So there is a benefit to your yard looking
a little
ghetto.
shaggy.
Okay.
A little shaggy.
Interesting.
Yeah, which ours usually does.
It's wow, that's why my neighbors across the street do that.
Hey, yeah, they're just
I just thought that they were lazy and don't use
they're just conserving water.
I just thought I just thought that even though I can see the lawnmower and I can see a gas can when I lurk on their property, there's a reason why they have their grass so unkempt and horribly looking. I was wrong. See, this is humbling. This is
no, look.
hey.
There's
Who knew?
there's degrees, right? You all can't see it on the podcast, like listening on the podcast. But I've got my arms out wide. Right on one end, there's the guy who's like really obsessive and is always out there on his riding mower, like keeping his grass to like
My
exactly an inch and a half, right?
Yeah.
And it has like the diagonal like diamond lines, like you're on a baseball field.
Oh yeah.
Right? This is not necessary. This is what I'm saying is like let it go for a little bit. And then on the other end of the spectrum is the I'm calling property standards on you, right? Because
Right.
I'm pretty sure a coyote is living in your yard. Like,
Shouts out to my dad since it's Father's Day weekend. Shouts out to my dad who always kept our crib looking just absolutely magnificent.
yeah?
Yeah. As the time went by and urban changes happened to the neighborhood that I grew up in, I must say the greatest house on the block was ours.
Yeah.
It was better homes and gardens. It was awesome.
Charming.
Shouts out to my dad. This is back
Shout
when
out, Dad.
this is back when men wore shorts that were like Daisy Dukes.
Oh.
Remember how basketball used to be? Like
Oh,
the shorts
yeah.
were real short.
The short shorts. Well, let me tell you.
The shorts were short. The socks were pulled all the way up to your ankles.
Yeah.
And my dad was out there looking like
it was
Carl
all
Weathers.
It was
from
all
Predator.
about the knee to mid thigh view.
It was
is
just
what
all
you were
thighs.
getting.
It's all thighs out there. Yep.
You know, thighs
Good
are coming.
times though. Good times, man. I good memories.
Thighs are coming back, man, on men.
Well, thighs never
that's
left. Actually.
well, no, but like it used to be the obsession for men was like washboard abs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now that has that's not like the coveted thing anymore. The coveted thing, if you read like the Men's Health, is like the beefy thighs. So
I saw a Men's Health cover that says something like, it was like, because Men's Health is always telling you to get rid of the gut, but this one
I
was
read
kinda
Men's
like,
Health every month.
If you have
so.
a gut, it may be okay, and it's like what?
Yes, your body's actually designed to have just a little bit of like pooch there. The washboard abs are pretty. Actually, this. To recap Men's Health for you this month, the cover story was the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia who then got really ripped, Rob McElhenney, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole story is about how
I like that show.
Yeah. So the whole story, but he's like, pretty flubby in that, right? And then he got super ripped during the pandemic. And the whole story was about him basically explaining that it's completely unattainable. And like he goes through, here's what it actually took to do this. And like nobody can do this. He's like, well, you only have to like give up every food that you love and beer and work out like several times a day and then go for 3-mile runs and then have the trainer from Magic Mike and then take 7 months to do it, all paid for by your studio. So it's a whole.
Yeah, it's demanding. It's extremely demanding.
It is, yes. So that's your Men's Health recap for the month, which I, again, read.
Jim Mendoza, good morning to you as well. Carolyn Hopkins, good morning to you. Thanks for tuning in. And Josue Paez is here. DJ Venom, would you please clap for DJ Venom?
See, because the thing about Men's Health is like it's all the same articles as Women's Health, only like really attractive men on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
now in regards to 1% on a 1% increase on our water bill, as we detailed, was not an insane amount of money and nothing to be upset about. Cheryl Brownell is here. Good morning, Cheryl. But
you want to go back to
$80,000
for a liquor store?
For a liquor store?
You want to talk about that?
Is that in the news? I see.
Yeah, so that's the next. That's also coming up on the next city council
in the name of
meeting. Yeah. So okay. So cities offer incentives.
$80,000.
Yeah, so cities offer incentives for people who are looking to redevelop in their downtowns, right? Like
that's nice. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing, right? Nobody is complaining about that.
Word up.
I don't even know if I'm complaining about this yet. We'll get.
It looks like complaint.
It looks like I'm complaining in the notes. Yeah. Again,
guys,
just so you all know, there's notes to this show.
I'm ready to complain.
Sometimes we organize.
I saw 80,000. I'm ready to complain.
Well, cities regularly invest. So if a developer is coming and saying, "Hey, we want to take this building that's basically falling apart and do something with it, like fix it and like put something cool in there," and cities are like, "We want that cool thing," they usually work out some kind of agreement to make the math work, right? So because sometimes
to make the math work.
So sometimes these projects.
Nebulous.
Well, so imagine.
I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
Right. So think about like the Hobbs building or like one of the buildings in downtown that's been vacant for a really long time that has a lot of structural issues. Like it would be much cheaper and easier for a company to go in and put their business in like a strip mall somewhere with brand new construction and without having to do all that extra work, and all that extra work costs a lot of money. So a lot of times in these older downtowns, cities develop any number of incentive programs to help developers kind of recoup some of their losses on fixing up the buildings, because we have a shared interest in having buildings that do not collapse. So, generally,
right. Pretty much, right?
And preserving old buildings too is a thing, right? So like the Hobbs building with that was the one that had the cool onion dome on top until it looked like it was about to fall off. So we took it down and now they're rehabilitating the building.
Good morning, Mark Hogan. Yeah.
Put it back up. So, any business can come to the city and say like, hey, I want help like redeveloping my property. What can you offer me? And cities can say yes or no, right? Here's what's the building, the Foremost Liquors. So that's the liquor store on the corner of 31 and Galena?
Yeah, Galena and Lake Street.
Yeah, Galena and Lake Street, right?
Yeah, right
so
across from Tortas Guadalajara.
yeah, there you go. So that little liquor store, dude wants to redevelop it, which is great. But the total cost, he says, is going to be about 160 grand. The plan is to put another one-story liquor store on the property, and he said he's offering to put in 80 grand. The city. Okay, so the deal is that Invest Aurora, which is technically not the city, but is kind of the city, because it's our economic development partnership, right? The Invest Aurora is going to give them $30,000 to do it, and then that still leaves $50,000. So the way that this is going to work is that the city is going to give the property owner $50,000. That's going to then be paid back over in what's in sales tax increment. So that means that I'm building this new liquor store. It's going to be nicer and have more inventory. I'm going to sell more booze as a result of it. So I will have more sales tax coming in. So you can have that sales tax back. And that counts towards repaying my loan.
Sure.
Now, the city would already get that sales tax if he just redeveloped it on his own. So it's sort of this argument of like, so in a way, if he didn't redevelop it, we wouldn't get that additional sales tax. But if he did redevelop it on his own, we would get that anyway.
Now listen to me very carefully. This is important. If you are driving into the city, if you're down here like we are, the next time you are at the intersection of Lake and Galena, look at Foremost Liquor. Look at the place that we are talking about and ask yourself, $80,000, and just let that marinate as you look at that building.
Well,
and when you do that, to the note, that better come out looking like Benny's. Look
that is
at
in my
the
notes.
liquor store that we are talking about, you guys, because us telling you this on the second largest city's first daily news podcast, and that's explaining the time is 8:41. You might not, we're painting the picture for you mentally, but I want you to look at that and ask yourself, $80,000.
Yeah. So look,
Really quickly, is it just that building, or is it also because it's right next to the?
it's right next to the
optical store,
Oxy's,
Oxy's Affordable Optical. That's right. That's
Optical.
right.
And yeah,
The barbershop too. Headliners, I think. Headliners barbershop. That's right.
Let's see. We can pull that up.
Right
in
across
the
from
details.
Old Second Bank.
Yeah, so
Harry
I'm
B's
not.
dog
I'm
parlor
just
up
wondering if it's also like going to be renovating those buildings, like the
Uh-huh.
buildings on the second floor.
If you two
Now,
riff
the guy's name
first-
is Tony. Okay, he's he's.
well, the agreement is with a fella named Kishore,
I know that's
so-
his. Yeah, but he goes by Tony. I don't know why he does that.
because Kishore is probably not a really common name that people understand, and lots of people go by different names. So
What's your alias name?
I can't tell you because then everyone would know.
Jennifer Ryan
Dun, dun,
Maton is here.
dun.
BTP, would you please
Do that.
Jennifer Ryan Maton.
Okay, so got a little presentation here that he gave before the cow. We got some plans and things like that. Y'all are gonna have to keep riffing if you want the answer on whether or not we're redeveloping the other things. But I think
this
it's
is the.
just
But
the
look,
liquor
go into that
store.
liquor store. I mean, it is a special kind of liquor store.
I
They don't have White Claw. I mean, they got like those little bottles of.
Well, it's like
Boy.
every other liquor store in like the downtown core, right? Where it's like just it's
Sketch.
like your basic. It's like you can get your Coors and your like
Four
yeah
Loko.
yeah. It's not great. And so look again. If we're if we're paying to get something that's like a really super nice spot,
Word up.
then I'm okay with it.
Word.
Like if I can get like if it's like a Benny's shopping experience,
I'm telling you.
which feels like as an adult, doesn't it feel like going to a candy store and you're
Yeah,
just like,
Benny's.
ooh.
When you go into Benny's, you feel like, all right, heck
All
yeah.
right,
Even if
let's-
you're just
let's-
getting a bottle of wine
let's
to
explore, right?
to have with your grilled salmon, brown rice, and capers. You walk in there, you're like, oh my goodness, this is the sexiest store I've ever been in. So when you walk into Foremost,
It's not the same experience.
no,
So,
it is.
I'm guessing so. Like according from this little street view
No
map
White
too,
Claw, Cheryls. They don't got the
from
White
the street
Claw.
view map, it looks like there's like an apartment up there too, or
well, from the elevation.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. There's an American flag up there in
Yeah.
the window.
Yes,
I would
from
presume
so
then
from
it's
the
an apartment or-
elevations, the apartment, there will be apartments upstairs too.
Oh, there will be?
So,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
looks like two.
So you could live
So-
on top of the liquor store, y'all. How about that? Like at least 3 of our listeners are like, oh hell yeah, Kurt, let me know when their applications. Like, I don't
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it looks like there's a second floor apartment going into a studio and 2-bedroom, something like that. Okay,
and a 2-bedroom.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what it looks like.
Interesting.
So,
I lived
so
on top of a bar for a long time. I don't know if I want
Yeah.
to go live on top of a liquor store.
I mean, I feel like living on top of the liquor store would be more quiet most of the time.
Not that one. Have you seen
Look,
that
I
intersection at night?
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of traffic and stuff
Yeah.
too. But like in general, like
Yeah.
on average, I feel like a bar you can always expect to be loud,
Yeah.
as opposed to right because they got even if there's not a lot of people having a big party, there's still gonna be music and stuff like that,
Right.
right? Like, I live relatively close to a social hall, so I am familiar with this.
Right.
But I like again. It turns it's the kind of liquor store, right? So if we get something that looks exactly the same as what we've got before, I'm gonna be really annoyed.
Exactly.
But if we get something really nice, I'll be like,
Definitely.
okay.
And the city, and despite my veiled consternation, the city needs development. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
It will help to brighten up and beautify that intersection. So that's an absolutely wonderful thing. And Harry Beast Dog Parlor is located at 215 West Marina Boulevard. So you could get you a 6-pack of High Life, the
Puppers.
champagne of beers.
Get yourself some puppers, and then go get your pupper some
What's
some
puppers?
grooming puppers. It's the beer
It
from.
was a beer from a TV show.
That's
They
it, yeah.
actually released it in.
Did they?
Yeah,
really?
they did for a little while. That doesn't actually exist.
No.
anymore.
Oh, okay.
Letterkenny. Have you ever seen Letterkenny? It's it's a comedy that takes place in Letterkenny, Canada.
I guess I
Yes,
gotta
it's
check
a little.
it
You
out.
gotta.
rural Canada.
Rural Canada. It's the tagline is there are 5,000 residents of Letterkenny, and these are their problems.
So we're getting body cams. I saw as well. We got a couple more news topics.
A couple more. Oh my goodness, boy, the time is flying
The time
today.
is 8:46. Holy cow!
Yeah. Okay. So we
A lot of
yeah,
riffing today.
a lot of
This
riffing.
Randy Rhodes up in here. Rest in peace to Randy Rhodes.
Yeah, so the Aurora Police Department is getting body cameras. We were supposed to be getting body cameras anyway, and then the state expanded when they passed the reforms, the police reforms. Right now, everybody has to have a body camera. Like
Wait, Aurora police did not have body cameras?
they were getting them.
No, they did not. Here's
Yeah.
what happened. They made a statement that they would, and then they blamed. I'll take away blamed. Then the word was that they were too expensive. So they were shopping around
This
for
was
a better
back
deal.
when?
This was a while ago. This was a long time ago. This
Years
was
ago?
I'd
Yeah,
say about
so-
2 or 3
2 or
years
3
ago.
years ago.
So
Yeah.
in October 2020, there was a resolution that the council passed to authorize the purchase of 275 cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, it was optional, but like highly like important. Like everyone was putting pressure on police departments to get them. So now, the state of Illinois has implemented some laws that say that everybody has to have body cameras, and that includes everybody at all levels. So even if you're like just on the desk or whatever, you've got to have a body camera now. So now we're buying 310 one body camera for every sworn APD personnel. We're also getting new cameras for the squad cars because those I guess were quite outdated. So
Just one camera being ordered per sworn-in officer?
Yes.
There's no backup. So if one breaks, I guess we just don't.
Well, I mean, probably we'll just get it replaced would be my guess.
Okay.
So like you don't have to like buy them unnecessary. If you're buying, the way that purchasing works for a major city, if you're buying one thing and it's costing you like a couple $100, you don't have to like go out and like authorize that purchase. But if you're buying like a bajillion things and it gets really expensive, then that's one big contract and you do have to
Gotcha.
have that
Right.
approved. So we're getting body cameras. We are also getting a new fleet car camera system. So they're going to go new cameras in the squads.
New cameras in the squads. Interesting.
Ooh, are we getting
Interesting.
new tasers too? It looks like maybe.
So I
Interesting.
we've always been interested in increases to police budgets on the show and new equipment. So we will let you know. Now, it is worth noting that the Kane County Sheriff's Department got their body cameras last year way early. So much so that when I highlight that, a spokesperson from APD sent me a message.
Yeah?
And asked why I didn't reach out to find out about their body camera. We're doing things too. And when I mentioned that, he was right. And we're happy to highlight and shout out. We still have not yet got that interview with the, quote, command staff member, end quote. The time is now 8:49 a.m.
But now that our police chief is retiring,
L
maybe.
News, please. I mean, I broke this story on
Dun, dun, dun,
Tuesday,
dun, dun,
but
dun,
yeah,
dun, 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 dun.
this is a real news show. Turn off CNN, turn on
That's
GMA.
right.
I like CNN though. I still, word up.
Yeah,
Word up.
so the announcement was made earlier this week. Police Chief Kristen Zeman is retiring. Presumably, she's going to be spending more time working on her memoir. I am just a little bit jealous because the only thing I want in life is to retire early and work on my memoir.
Finish a memoir.
Finish my memoir, right? My memoir. But she is retiring. The mayor in an article this week about it said that he is going to be looking. He will start by looking inside the department for the city's next police chief. So logically, that would suggest Keith Cross, who is the deputy right now.
Yeah, deputy chief. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. But her last day is August 6th. So. Yeah.
Now,
So maybe we can get her on to talk about things after she is no longer the chief. and
Right.
Has no
Josue-
repercussions.
we talk about things now.
Yeah, but I mean, like on the show.
No, we talk about it on the show. There are
No,
no.
but I mean, like maybe we can get her to come on.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Well, Lee Cataview is the union chief, and he's a friend of the show.
Okay.
Lee.
Very good.
If you're listening, we got to get coffee again at Treadwell, 14 West Downer
Sweet.
Place. See, that's the thing about this show. We look. Let me tell you something. Law enforcement is and has been intertwined with this show from the very beginning. Back before Good Morning Aurora was even on camera. Actually, the second week when we got out of the bathroom and started recording in a actual studio, Ron Hain came on the show. Then after that, Deputy Chief Fisher and Chief DeLeo from North Aurora Police Department came on the show. Then we've had a lot of law enforcement on this show. But anyway, Josue asks, are we getting RoboCop 2? That would be cool if we did, right? If they gave us like a big monster, like,
I am generally
you are not following the law.
Yeah, I'm generally not in favor of any robots having any kind of like. I really have a lot of like Terminator fears. So like,
What do you mean?
Kind
You
of
don't
like,
want Skynet?
No.
No, I don't either.
No,
But I mean,
I have like that's like my one, like I'm not afraid of zombies, like I'm not afraid of like, any kind of like horror movie type things, but I am just a little bit worried that robots are going to take over. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah, so
That's interesting.
I want to get to a couple other things though. Real fast, I want to let people know that fireworks are happening this year. They are July 2nd. That's a Friday. Yeah, so put that on your calendar because it's not Sunday. If you wait till Sunday, you will miss them on Friday. So
Holy
it's
cow.
Friday. You go to fireworks on Friday. You go to the parade on Sunday like normal, but like fireworks are Friday. So put that on your calendar.
Though to be fair, fireworks are every day.
Fireworks are
starting
every day.
in like May 15th.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, there's
So
fireworks in my neighborhood every night.
yeah, so this time of year we have a practice in our house known as boom cheese because we have a tiny dog who is terrified of fireworks. And so I just want to offer this advice to any dog owners out there with a great deal of anxiety over the fireworks. We carry around a little cup of cheese. I recommend like string cheese because it's less smelly. Yeah. And every time there's a firework, we give her a little piece of cheese. And so it has taken her anxiety from like an 11 where she was just like cowering in a corner and drooling and shaking down to like a 3 or so. Now her anxiety is mostly, am I going to get that cheese or not? So to go ahead and file that one away, dog owners, boom cheese.
Interesting.
And then, since we're getting close to the end of the hour, do you want to skip ahead and celebrate our new national holiday?
Yes, that is news. So President Biden, or the Biden administration, signed into law Juneteenth as a state and federal holiday.
That's right. Yeah. Well, so it was a state holiday. It had already been made a state holiday in Illinois and in several other states, right? So Illinois state workers have the day off today. Municipal workers, it's up to the individual city. Just, sticking that out there. But
So that means you're working.
I am indeed working.
That means
Exactly. I know. So, but maybe it'll catch on. Right, so because we do
not for the city that you work in, but
well, it might catch on. We
never
have yeah. I think we have either Columbus and/or Indigenous Peoples Day off, regardless, whatever you want to call it. I think I have that off.
But yeah, let's do a little bit brief history on it. So on June 19th, 1865, excuse me, Major General Gordon Granger, a lot of G's there, went to Galveston, Texas. That sounds like a beginning of a children's story.
Yeah, can we turn this
Major
into like
General
a
Gordon
poem?
Granger
Like,
went to
yeah, can
Galveston,
we turn
Texas.
this? That would be a great children's story.
That would be.
Let's do it.
Major General Gordon Granger went to Galveston, Texas. Major General Gordon Granger went to Galveston, Texas.
There we go.
Major General,
Okay.
with other federal soldiers, and walked the streets reading General Order Number 3, a document declaring the slaves were free. The following year, on the anniversary of his walk, the freedmen celebrated. It's important to know that the announcement in Texas came 2 years after Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation of January 1st, 1863, and that the official end of slavery didn't happen until the ratification of the 13th Amendment in December 1865. And although the Emancipation Proclamation declared an end to slavery in the Confederate States, slavery was still legal and practiced in 2 Union border states, Delaware and Kentucky, until December 6, 1865, when ratification of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution abolished chattel slavery nationwide.
Yeah, right. So here's the timeline, right? Because there's this, you're taught in school, the Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves, right? Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. But it was only in the states that were in the Confederacy. So it was less of we're freeing the slaves because we think that this is the right thing to do. And it was more of a Reconstruction era, like restructuring / punishment of the South, right? Like we are freeing the slaves there. But what happened was the news had to actually get to the slaves, right? Who were forbidden from reading and all of these things. So somebody had to actually go and tell them they were free, right? So in areas where there were lots of Union soldiers, like in Georgia, right, that happened more quickly. But Texas was really remote at the time. So it took 2 years for soldiers to get there and be like, oh, yeah, by the way, you can like go now.
Super remote. So even those of us who've been to Texas and can understand how remote some parts of it are still in the sticks.
Right.
This was 1863.
Right. Like even in the modern era, it still takes 14 hours to drive from like one town to another in Texas. So
Right.
yeah. So Juneteenth celebrates that day when the soldiers arrived in Texas, but it's still not really the end of slavery in the United States because that didn't happen until later in the year because there were still slaves in Delaware and in Kentucky, which were still part of the Union, and so were not forced to give up their slaves until the 13th Amendment.
Right. Now, for those, I'm going to tell you another stay tuned moment. There is we have a friend of the show who will be detailing as a part of her college thesis, did she say?
Oh.
Shout out to all of our Instagram friends. Let's see here. Yeah, she has it coming up for her doctoral program. Excuse me. And the foundation is on critical race theory and Juneteenth. And your radio host will be taking part in that. So we shall see. Stay tuned for that.
Oh, that is fascinating.
That is absolutely fascinating.
So-
shouts out to our dear friends.
Yeah, so you can celebrate Juneteenth in Aurora this weekend. There's a couple different things. The
Yep.
African American Men of Unity are holding a car parade and festival on Saturday. And I should have clicked the link before I said that so that I could more smoothly tell you the rest of the details of that. Coming up.
It's going to be at It's going to be at Martin Luther King Jr.
There it is.
Park
Okay,
on Farnsworth and Grand. That's on the east side.
perfect.
We've been telling you guys about that. There's going to be a moon jump. There's going to be face painting. A lot of fun stuff for kids. There's also going to be the car parade starts at 3:30 p.m. And also City of Aurora African American Men of Unity, the CAN Network, CAAN Community Advocacy Awareness Network, and the African American Heritage Advisory Board are all have all teamed up to sponsor, promote, and get this event off the ground. It's
Fabulous.
gonna be absolutely wonderful.
And then the Lutheran churches in town are also hosting a Juneteenth service at 6 p.m. at St. Mark's, which is the one at Edgelon and Galena.
That's
So-
right. Shout out to Patrick Fish of St. Mark's. Patrick Fish and I go way back. We just did a great volunteer opportunity about a week and a half ago where we worked our butts off with a whole bunch of youngsters doing some great work for our community and those less fortunate. Shout out to St. Mark's and Patrick Fish.
Yeah, I saw some of them Instagram stories.
Word up. Yeah, it
of them
was
there. Yeah.
it was hectic.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing about this show. We've mentioned this to people before. You know, we're not just telling you news, right?
We're out there.
We're out there. I mean, for literally 7 out of 10 things that you hear about on this show, your host is either doing it, there, just left, or will be there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not me. I'm mostly drinking.
Yes.
I'm mostly at the
exactly.
things. If I'm mentioning alcohol, I'm mostly at those things. But yes, democracy is not a spectator sport, right? And that doesn't.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you like
I
that?
like that.
I stole that
anything
from
for that.
somebody.
You stole that from Tom Hartman.
Okay.
Tom Hartman.
I don't know
Yeah,
who
shout
that
out to
is.
Tom Hartman.
But yes, that's a thing. So
Democracy is not a
it
spectator
is not a
sport.
spectator sport.
Ooh.
And that means, and that doesn't just mean like voting and getting involved in politics, right? It means getting involved in all of the things in your local community, so you actually know what you're talking about when it comes
Yeah,
to politics.
he's very like a big advocate for like run for something.
That's
yes,
right.
yes. So
Democracy
yeah.
is not a spectator sport.
So
It
yeah,
is not.
listeners, what are you doing? What are you running for? We laying the groundwork for these things. We've issued this challenge before, so let us know. We'll promote the thing that you're doing.
Yeah,
out
run
in
for
the
something.
community.
Run
We'll
for
promote
something.
The office you're running for.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So now, I think the time is now 9:01. Went over a little bit, and we've got an interview
man.
coming up.
We were so close.
You guys will be interested to see the next interview that we've got coming up for you guys today. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. We've kicked butt and done a lot of interviews. So get ready for what's coming next. And we have an artist coming onto the show today in about 14 minutes.
Ooh.
And this artist is absolutely wonderful, absolutely fantastic. And I'll tell you a little fun tidbit. When we got out of the bathroom and went into the studio and started recording, this artist dropped off some of their artwork to us as a gift.
Ooh.
So today is a very special interview coming up because we are proud to give this artist their deserved shout. Gonna be a good one, y'all. Gonna
That's
be a good one.
exciting.
The time
That's
is now
good.
9:02.
That's right.
All right. So, as we've told you many times, this show is sponsored by Wabanzi SBDC. Through the SBDC, small business owners, both prospective and existing, are able to find help, resources, and they have many no-cost, aka free, workshops to help you and your business grow and succeed. Get started with SBDC workshops. Send us an email at goodmorningaurora@gmail.com and we can connect you, or simply hit the link that we post every day for you on our Facebook page. Also, don't forget, please support us. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner. Also, I want to say a thank you very much to Philip and James and Norma as well, and our newest YouTube subscriber who has like a long name. I'm sure it's probably not, I don't, Sesquidelia, right? So thanks for subscribing. That was cool. I don't know what your real name is, but I like the icon that you got of a Pokemon thing. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Sesquidelia.
All right.
Nice. BTP, last words for these people as we go into this weekend.
This nice toasty Father's Day weekend.
Yeah. Stay
Juneteenth
hydrated. It's supposed to
weekend.
get pretty hot today.
Very
Stay
hot.
hydrated all week,
Mhm.
all weekend.
Mhm.
Hit up
it's
a
gonna be
local
hot.
shop. Hit up some local shops. Carry your mask with you just in case they require it.
Mhm. Yeah, still be nice. We're still being nice.
Yeah, just
people.
have a safe, fun weekend.
That's right. J to the S, anything that we forgot?
No, that's all I got.
All right. Matthew Root, good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Y'all stay hydrated out there. So yeah, that's it for the day. Dad, have a good day. I'll call you later on, and I hope that you guys have a blessed, wonderful, positive weekend. Do something nice for another person. That's what you got to do. Shout out to all of the dads and all of the parents out there. For all of you who don't have a dad, we wish you an absolutely wonderful, stellar, and peaceful Father's Day as well. Be happy for the parents that you have while you have them. Also, last but not least, shout out to our dear friends of the show at the SBDC, and thank you very much, especially to my boy Greg Zilioli of A Call to Shoulders.
That's it.
Take care of yourself and each other.
Adios, everyone.